Twin Face is here, and so is the brand new Crusher hero, Seraph. Is she worth investing into? Is her Crusher chest worth the flooz? Should the Twin Face artifacts be invested into? What kinds of runes will Seraph need? If you find yourself asking these kinds of questions, then you're in luck, because we're going to cover these topics and more. We're going to start by unlocking Seraph for 120 flooz. This is going to be flooz well spent. We can see that her Crusher chest can contain Alda, Kage, Dark Hunter, Arcana, and Nico medals. We're guaranteed Seraph medals, and there is a chance to get bonus Seraph medals with each purchase. We'll circle back around to discussing the merits of Seraph's Crusher chest and recommendations for that later in this video. So keep watching through the end of the video for that and an exciting bit of information about my personal Discord community. Here she is, Seraph, the newest Crusher. With Seraph, that brings us to 6 Crushers total in the game. Seraph is the first dual element hero. She is a primarily light hero that can also deal dark damage, and light enemies in general. I stress this bit because that matters if you want to use her for staging. For online staging, she'll kill light and dark bosses. Offline staging, she only counts for light, meaning you'll get stuck on the first light boss you encounter without a dark hero to kill it. I don't recommend trying to use her for both light and dark for staging, as this will negatively affect other aspects of the game for you, such as daily dungeons, which require 5 heroes with enough prisms to complete various levels. It would also reduce the amount of ascension rewards you'd earn after having to readjust your prisms for 5 heroes instead of 4. Now subjectively, Seraph is going to be a powerhouse for light DPS heroes. Not quite as good for light DPS as Tesla, yet good enough she should be considered by practically everyone. Seraph is a flying ranger with a whopping 520 base attack range. This means that even with no attack range runes, she'll be relatively safe from most enemy heroes and will be avoiding AoE from ground-based AoE attacks without issue. Having the dark and light ability, she's able to benefit from 4-star abilities of heroes that buff both light and dark heroes, artifacts for the game modes that use them, for light and dark elemental buffs, and she doesn't receive the typical elemental damage from light or dark enemies targeting her directly. In PvP, this is basically negligible, because if she's being targeted, it likely indicates that you've already lost the fight. In PvE guild raids, this is pretty substantial, because it means she has increased survivability against the Twin Face, Astrolab, and Gunlord bosses. This matters far more for attacking rather than surviving, but we'll get more into that in a couple of minutes. Flipping Seraph's card over, we can see that she has a 2-star ability, multi-light and dark arrows. This is a DPS-based ability dealing increased damage to a single target. Her 3-star ability is called Mortal Blessing. This ability gives you critical damage up to your light and dark heroes and is massively important for DPS against guild raid bosses. We'll delve more into that in just a minute. Finally, her 4-star ability buffs Rangers' attack damage additively, which means that this will have a minimal impact for DPS against guild raid bosses, but offers a huge buff for PvP modes like Arena, Guild War, and Blitz to herself and other Rangers like Dark Hunter, Valkyrie, Alda, and Spark. All high usage Rangers in those modes, and I mean this is a pretty strong buff in that regard. So is Seraph good? I'd say yes. Very good for the cost point, and she offers a lot of good buffs for multiple game modes. So just on her abilities and stats alone, I'd argue that she should be a fairly strong focus for everyone. But how much to invest? That's what we're going to look at next. So, looking at the contents of her Crusher chest, which I was just on, we can see that we have Alda, Kage, Dark Hunter, Arcana, and Nico. Alda is extremely useful for multiple modes for her ability to buff critical damage for all of your heroes. Kage is great for debuffing enemy HP. Dark Hunter is staple for most teams for his ability to debuff enemy attack. Arcana is only really good for buffing damage during guild raid events and for filler and blitz. And Nico isn't particularly useful for most players anyway, but she can be used for blitz filler. And then on the highest level, Seraph and Alda alone make this chest worth investing into. If you haven't maxed Kage or Dark Hunter yet, they both offer a lot of value here for you as well. So at worst, you have 2 heroes that bring substantial value available, and at best 4 heroes that bring substantial value. With all of this said, I'd strongly recommend investing up to tier 3 consistently for most players. Though, feel welcome to spend more than that if, you so choose, and get higher tiers if you have the flooz available. Seraph will prove to be pricey to max. If you attempted to max her in a single event, it would cost in the ballpark range of 45,000 flooz. If you focus on tier 4 purchases, it'd take about 2/3 of a year and cost about 35,000 flooz. And if you focused on tier 3 purchases, it'd take a bit over a year and cost about 30,000 flooz. This is all assuming you get literally 0 medals from other sources, such as the guild shop and daily dungeons. Speaking of daily dungeons, her medals will only be available from the light daily dungeon, so keep that in mind in your planning. Now, in regards to Twin Face Guild Raid event, I want to take a minute to show you guys, I just wanted to show you guys my teams here. So I have 2 teams. Team 1 is my attack team, and Team 2 is my survival team. Now, I'm primarily going to be focusing on my survival team, but day 1, when I need to help kill Twin Face, I'll be using this attack team. I have Vlad and Kasume, and they're here to debuff Twin Face attacks, allowing my own heroes to attack more frequently. Kage makes Twin Face easier to kill with a substantial HP debuff. Dark Hunter for both the damage that he'll do to Twin Face and his attack debuff ability. One Eye to buff Seraph's attack speed. Valkyrie, Alda, and Arcana are all here to buff critical damage of Seraph. Angelica is here for her Divine Touch buff. And then finally, we would have, which she's going to be all the way at the bottom for me, Seraph herself, which we can evolve real quick. Okay. And then the final spot would be for Seraph herself, and she would be for attack teams, not for survival teams. And now at 3 stars, she has the Mortal Blessing critical damage up, plus 500% for 10 seconds. Get back to that in just a minute. Now, however, for most players over the first few Seraph events, including myself, Furiosa will likely do more damage than Seraph, and should be considered for her added survivability as well. So basically she'll be able to stand there and do more overall than Seraph, but once you get Seraph up to 5, 6, 7 stars, definitely use her instead. Now, we should take a look real quick at the skills for this team, which, assuming that we are bringing Seraph in, we would have access to that ability as well. So these are the skills that I would be using for my attack team, to start with at least. And what we have here, for skills, I'll run Angelica's, Valkyrie's, Seraph. These are the three most important ones, and I should probably prioritize them in that order. And then just for some added damage, I've got Dark Hunter and One Eye as well. And then we'll switch on over to my survival team. My survival team, however, is a lot different from this. So I run the Nimble Knight survival strategy. So for this, I run Vlad, Kasume, Vlad, Kasume, Valkyrie, Blackbeard, Ice Knight, Warnock, Paladin, and then on over here we have Frost Queen and Angelica. And then for skills on this team, I run Angelica, Paladin, Valkyrie, Frost Queen, and Ornock. The most important out of these are Angelica and Paladin, but the random freezes from the Water Heroes help me out substantially. There is a detailed guide on survival strategies that elaborate on this and other survival methods that I've linked in the description below this video. So check that out, and while you're down there, if you haven't already done so, I'd ask that you subscribe to this channel so you can catch all my videos when they come out and stay up to date on all the latest Crush Them All news and information. I do want to take a moment to discuss Seraph's 3-star ability, Mortal Blessing, in more depth. So let me get her pulled back up. Now this ability buffs the critical damage of both light and dark heroes for 10 seconds, and stacks additively with Arcana, Valkyrie, and Alda's similar abilities, the difference being that this is an ultimate and not a passive ability. This ultimate increases as her stars increase. As far as I'm aware, this is the only hero that does that. So on the next star that she gains, you can see it goes up plus 500%. So that's pretty cool, something different. Because of this, Seraph can benefit from running intelligent runes with ultimate attack reload speed primaries for guild raid events. However, this wouldn't be recommended as a set for her to run for PvP, meaning that swapping back and forth between various sets, if you are a hitter for your guild, is going to be the most efficient method of ruining her. If you are not a hitter in your guild, then you'll just want to focus on a survival team and not worry about this whatsoever. This will be the case for most players, meaning you can focus on a PvP rune build. There are a few options, but MrMoogle has shown that the best DPS potential is going to be from running DRP, or Damage Rage Precise. Alternatively, Damage Swift Precise would also be quite effective and would be a good alternative to consider. Now, in a nutshell, Seraph is worth it. Her Crusher Chest is worth it. She is fairly straightforward to rune for damage in PvP. And what else is there to consider? Well, the Twin Face event artifacts, of course. And these are pretty exciting for me. So we have 3 here. There's the Twin Chalice, Twin Mask, and Twin Pendant. So in order of importance, I'd probably rank these as Twin Chalice, Twin Pendant, and then Twin Mask, in that order. Twin Chalice gives Star Shards daily in your mail. Likewise, Twin Pendant gives Rune Dust daily in your mail. And Twin Mask gives additional expedition materials, which works the same as the player orb library upgrades and isn't really fantastic since it doesn't increase secondary rewards like Rune Dust, but it is still going to be solid for most players to pick up. I will be increasing my Twin Chalice as much as I can until I have enough of the rare Twin Face material, this one right here, the Twin Face Gem, to pick up the Twin Pendant. And then what I'm going to do is sell this back, receive all of my resources back for just 10 flooz, and then I'll buy it back at level 1, and then I'll also buy the Twin Pendant. Even at level 1, these items' passive income will prove quite beneficial over time. And this brings me to the conclusion for today's video. But I'd love to hear what you guys think after seeing this video. Do you think Seraph is as good as I think she is? Personally, I love the idea of a subjectively easier to get and Rune light DPS hero to run against enemy skeleton giant or knock in chaos. And Tesla is a great hero, but quite difficult to get maxed, and Seraph has the added bonus of just having some added synergy with other heroes. With all of that said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, as I conclude today's video, I'd like to thank GodsyLab for sponsoring this video. I'd like to thank Medivh for making the thumbnail for this video. I'd like to thank several Discord users who helped contribute to the content covered in today's video, namely aristai, longestyeahboi, MrMoogle, and Flocke. I'd also like to thank users such as yourself who watch my videos and encourage me to continue making content. Your contributions are appreciated more than you know. If you'd like to support this channel in other ways, there are several ways that you can do that. Comments, likes, and subscribing are a great way to show your support. You can also join my personal Discord server, which is open to the public. The link for that group is in the description below this video. As promised, I did have a special announcement regarding my personal Discord. We have 2 new staff members, aristai and longestyeahboi. These 2 community members are helping with presenting content shown in these videos, and it's great to have them on board. As an added celebration for this, we'll be doing a couple of small giveaways in my server, so if you'd be interested in that, you should hop on over there to be involved and find out more. And that's all the time we have for today. I appreciate you watching this video through to the very end. Thanks for watching.